can follow some of our housekeeping rules. While people are still joining, I'll quickly go through them. So we'd appreciate if you keep your microphones muted during the presentations so that we do not disturb them. To speak, I would ask you that you indicate by raising your hand, and once you are recognized, you can unmute yourself and start talking. Finally, the webinar is being recorded as it was informed in the registration fiche. If you do not wish to be recorded, you can keep your video off, and you can also send questions via the chat. And we'll be monitoring the chat, and you can ask us in that way. So I will just wait a couple more minutes. Okay, I think this is more or less the people that will be joining. So we can start. I welcome you to our second TEPP webinar, focusing on submitting a project on the portal. This will be a step-by-step explanation, and we'll have first a video presentation introduction by the director of INTPA D, Felix Fernandez Shaw. So let me stop sharing my screen and share the video.
Hola, my name is Felix Fernandez Shaw. I'm the Director for Sustainable Development Policy and Coordination here at DG INTPA in the European Commission, DG for International Partnerships. At DG INTPA, we focus our work in creating partnerships to promote and defend EU and international values and interests. We uphold sustainable development goals, but we also wish to bring together and connect stakeholders to European solutions which promote a green and digital just transition, a human-centered just transition. This is the global gateway that we are trying to connect the world to. The Team Europe Partnership Portal that I bring for you today is one of those expressions. The Team Europe Partnership Portal aims at connecting partners in partner countries, ministries, agencies, private sector with the European providers of solutions. Again, solutions that bring a just and fair digital and green transition, but also human development. By using a secure and user-friendly portal, we try to match our solutions with our challenges and our requests, and we do it in a Team Europe approach. Why? Because we've worked the Team Europe Partnership Portal together with the government of Estonia, but also we count on the cooperation from other member states, their agencies, their banks, and their private sector and NGOs to provide us for solutions that are well searched for all across Europe. This is a new era that we're trying to work together on. We are Team Europe, and we connect you to the global gateway.
Okay, so let me share my screen again on the slides. And now I would invite my colleague, Inga Navardaskiene, to speak you a bit more about the portal and its benefits. Inga?
Yes, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for coming to our second webinar on the Team Europe Partnerships portal. Thank you also, Rodrigo, for organizing it. I think what has Felix said is all about the Team Europe Partnership portal and the global gateways, right? The linkages between the European Union approaches and the way we want to put them in practice are actually tools that we can put at the disposal of our member states and partner countries to work together and to achieve a bigger political priorities. So we identify three main benefits of using the Team Europe Partnership portal independently on how you identify yourself. Later on will be presented by Rodrigo as a role in the partnership portal itself. So the first benefit of our portal is to provide a platform to the partner countries so that they could access the Team Europe assistance. The second benefit that we see is to promote an international partnerships. That means that The partnerships can be created between the partner countries and the Team Euro providers, but equally it can be created between the Team Euro providers themselves, and we will give you a concrete example later on how to do it. We also want to flag the priority areas to our partner countries for the cooperation and also coordinate our resources amongst the Team Europe providers. And the third benefit that we see is to leverage and maximize the existing European and its member state capacities at the global level, regional level, or national level. If you look a little bit more into the technical benefits for each of the group that we have identified, notably the Team Euro Partnership portal has its two sides. So one is the publicly accessible page, the homepage, so which is accessible to the non-registered users that have no access to the portal. They don't need to have prior register, and they can consult all the publicly accessible information on the homepage as you see it in the slide. But we also think about the other layer of the users of the Team Euro Partnership portal, for example, like the European Union delegations or the member state embassies and offices in the field that are not directly involved in the implementation of the access. They have a possibility to register to the Team Euro Partnership portal by joining existing organizations. So, for example, the European Union delegations can join the European Commission profile, and this way they can access the closed and secure portal site in order to simply look at the information, at the solutions, at the beneficiary needs, and map it up and coordinate with other actions that they are implementing through their budgets, through the programming cycles. Same applies to the member states, in particular colleagues that are working at the embassies. Again, they are not the ones that are implementing the projects, but they would like to get a better information about the partner country, about the partner country's needs, so to complement the actions that might be implemented through the Team Europe initiatives in order to achieve the Global Gateway ambitions. And then we have a third type of the users of our Team Europe Partnership portal that are registered users. But on this note, I'm handing over the floor to Rodrigo, who will go and guide you through all these tiny details today. Thank you.
Thank you, Inga. So we'll continue. First, I would like to start with, we already received a basic definition from Inga on what are the roles. You can see them again on the screen. But also we have the types of project. Each one of these roles has one specific project that they can upload to the portal. Some entities can have a dual role. For example, the Commission can be is registered as both a donor and a provider. So the donors, who are the public and private entities in the member states of the EU, they can create funding opportunities. So these would be the types of projects that will be showing, mainly, for example, the EU financial institutions, such as the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development and the European Investment Bank. Then we have the providers, which are also public and private entities from the EU member states. They can provide solutions. This can be either some technical solution that they have developed, for example, for EID management or consulting. And then we have beneficiaries, which are our partner countries, and they can create requests for solutions or for funding opportunities that they would need to go ahead with projects that can help them reach their sustainable development goals. So first and foremost, it's very important, as Inga mentioned, there are two separate types of portals. You can have the non-registered view, where you can only get the basic information of what the portal is. And then you need to register your profile in organization so that you can see the matchmaking tools and see the profiles of other organizations. So first of all, the most essential step is registering your organization. To get started, you need to go to the website following the link, and then you click on the login button on the top right corner. To log in, you need an EU login. It's a very easy login to create, and once you have it, you use it to gain access to the portal, where you're going to receive a screen to create or join an organization. If your organization is already registered on the portal, you just need to request to join it, and you need to be approved by a colleague who is already a registered member of that organization. Otherwise, you have the opportunity to create an organization, which is an extremely quick procedure that takes 3 minutes and can be done on your phone, where you just provide a basic description of the organization, a logo image file, and then you just select some details of your organization, such as which profile it fits and what else you would, sustainable development goals it addresses and which sectors it works. So this is a very quick procedure. Once you're registered, you finally come to the point of this webinar, which is creating a project on the portal. So I'll first go with a quick step-by-step, and then later we're going to go to the testing environment of the portal, and I can show you how to submit both a funding, a request, and a solution. So first of all, once you have your registration, your organization registered on the portal and it has been approved by the commission, otherwise you joined your registration, you're going to have the My Organization tab, which you can see in the image. To create a project, you have to go to the overview page of your organization. And there you're going to see one of those 3 buttons that you see on the screen, either the submit a funding opportunity, submit a solution, or submit a request. You simply need to click the one that you desire. As I mentioned, some organizations may choose to have a dual role. So they could, for example, submit a funding opportunity or submit a request, or you're only going to see one of the 3. Once you go there and you click on to select the solution, you're going to receive, you're going to see 3 steps that you need to do. The first is the general. So there are some 5 fields you need to fill in. There's 3 basic fields that are available to all project types. This is the title, the sectors, and the sustainable development goals that it addresses. And then depending on the type of project, there are some specific fields you might need to fill in. For example, for solutions, you might need to select a solution type. In this case, is this a consulting service? Is this a technical solution? And you also need to select the eligible countries in which you are prepared to deploy this solution. You can either select by regions or you can select by specific countries. If you are submitting a request, you will be asked to specify whether the funding required to implement this request is available or not. But this is not an excluding factor. Even if the funding is not available, this would just simply help us with the matchmaking, because then we know that we need to involve a donor also. And finally, if you're submitting a funding opportunity, you will need to specify the funding range, the contribution in kind, expected start period, and the funding type. So once you've done these more general details, you're going to be asked to provide more detailed information. So this will be a description of the project, documents involved in the project. For example, if there are letters of interest of organizations that would like to participate, or evidence of the funding you already have acquired, or otherwise, if you are adding a funding opportunity, if there are more specific detailed rules regarding your funding opportunity, you can add the PDF of them. You are also invited to add a cover photo and gallery. This is especially useful in the case of solutions. If you want to demonstrate the solution in the field, you can add photos of it. And then you click the continue button, and you just see a screen where you are allowed to see all the information that you've entered. You are invited to read through it. You can also click on a button to see how it will appear on the website. And once you're happy with all this information, you'll be invited to publish it on the portal. So this is a very quick step-by-step demonstration. But now I will also show you how we would look on the environment of the website, which I think it's the more interesting view. Let me share my screen again. Go. This you're seeing this is the testing environment for the website, which is our handy solution, so that we can show you. So I'll first go through the provider, so you can get a sense on the provider side what kind of information you are requested to provide. So as I said, you click on the My Organization tab. You will see here this is our your overview of your organization page, where you can see connections, solutions, details of your organization and which users are part of it. But at the very starting screen, you have this provide a solution. So you click on the button, submit a solution, and you're going to arrive at this general information where you have data to fill in. This is very handy because if I click twice, so for example, we have here an example of a solution titled Productive Farms Initiative. It applies to the sectors of agriculture, energy, and it addresses the Sustainable Development Goals of no poverty, zero hunger, decent work, and economic growth. And then you select that this is a technical implementation solution, and you can select which eligible countries or regions it would be a part of. So for example, this solution would be eligible for all of Africa. Once you see that all the information you've added is correctly filled in, you can select continue. Arrive at the submit the detailed description, where you add a description, the documents, media. If I click, for example, so you can add PDFs, you can add Word documents and images and zip files, which can give more information on this solution. You cover photo along with a gallery of photos related to it, and then you click continue. You see here an overview of how it will appear on the website. You can go through it and see if everything is correct. Once you're happy, you click publish and you see that it has been published. And importantly, you can click on it and you can see how it appears on the website. So you see here, you have all the information we've provided, and more importantly, you would have here the information about your organization. If you are, for example, a partner country that you're visiting this and gaining information about the solution, you would see here a button where you can request to be put in contact with the organization that is providing the solution. And when the organization approves this connection, you'd be able to then discuss on how to implement it. So now, if you go back, I will show you how it looks on the side of a beneficiary. So it's the same. You have the My Organization tab. You select to submit a request. You have this general field. So for example, our example is implementing a national EID and digital signature solution for the sectors of digitalization, government, civil society, and human rights. It addresses the Sustainable Development Goals of industry, innovation, infrastructure, peace, justice, and strong institutions, and partnerships for the goals. And in this case, we do have already funding for the solution. We were just missing the partners that could help you implement it. So you would add a description of what you have and what you would like to do, along with your, for example, a description of the funds you already have. You can add some additional documents regarding it. And then you go for the general overview where you can confirm if all the information is correct, you can publish it, and you can come to the view solution where you can see all the information that you have already provided. And as I mentioned, in this case, then the providers can view your request. If they feel that they can help you achieve this request, they would request to be put in contact with you through the button here. And now finally, we'll have the example of the donor. So submitting a funding opportunity is more or less the same procedure. You can see here on the general section, we have a little bit more detail. We have so we came up with an example of Voila, a program for SMEs. So no specified sector, it addresses sustainable goals of decent work and economic growth, partnerships for the goals. You can set a funding range, in this example, 10,000 to 50,000 euros. A starting period, what type of funding this is, so it's a program, and the source, which would be public. I click continue, then you get a detailed description along with documents that are necessary for this, and a cover photo. And once you click continue, there is the overview again. You make sure the information is correct, and you can publish this. Once it's published, you can see the funding opportunity. It would appear as this. As you see in this case, it's the European Commission. As you've mentioned, the Commission is registered in the portal with a dual role of both a donor and a provider. So let's say you've joined finally on the portal, you've provided all your information, you've submitted a project, and then you'd like to see how it appears. You can come here on the matchmaking. Signing the dashboard here. So if you come here, as I've shown you previously on the portal, you can look through on the portal solutions that have been submitted. You can select a solution. For example, this was the Productive Farms Initiative, and this is how it appeared. If you'd like to connect with them, you'd have the add organization to be able to contact them. On funding opportunities, this is the same. You'd see different fundings, and you have the one you submitted, where you can request to be put in contact. Or you can also see the requests from the partner countries, where you can have an idea of what kind of requests would be ended. So basically, this is a step-by-step. As you can see, it is a very quick process. I would now, let me just stop sharing my screen and go back to the slide presentation. We'll open it for Q&A. So I see there is already a question which I would like my colleague Inga to address, which is, will calls for proposals or tenders be migrated automatically from the TED to TEPP? Inga?
Yes, thank you, Rodrigo, for your presentation, and also thank you for colleagues asking this question. So first of all, the Team Euro Partnership Portal is a matchmaking portal. There is no specific funding behind the Team Euro Partnership Portal, at least not at its first stages as it is developed now. We don't know how it will evolve in the future, meaning in 2 or 3 or 5 years' time. When it comes to the call for proposals and tenders and everything that is funded in particular by the European Union institutions, so commissions, which is a programmed funds, we have no intentions to link the tools together. There is no intention behind, for example, to publicize the call for proposals or tenders on the Team Euro Partnership Portal that are publicized on the TED. Each and every tool has its own objectives and goals, and we don't want to make a duplications. Having said that, we definitely look for the synergies. Noting that when we talk about the donors, we primarily think about the private or political foundations, or for example, philanthropic organizations, or member states that has a very limited budgets to implement the development policy, but wants to contribute to it. Actually, they can publicize on the Team Euro Partnership Portal available funding sources, and they can look for the partners in the member state, so among the member state entities, to help them to implement their policy. So to answer to the e-delegation clearly, we don't mix the TED with Team Euro Partnership Portal. Truth is that on the Team Euro Partnership Portal, we have a home page where we have a featured stories. And if there is a need to reach out to the wider group of people and be aware about the portal, definitely what we can do under request on case-by-case study to simply do a short advert and put the hyperlink. But TED and TEPP will not be replaced. Rodrigo, you are muted, I think.
Thank you for pointing out that. So we did receive a question on the chat. If we could define what do we mean by solution or thematic solution, and if there is guidance or a portal manual. First, we do have a user guide posted on the portal along with some FAQs, although those are more technical on how to use the website. In terms of what do we mean by a solution, Inga, would you like to take this question?
Yes, absolutely. So a solution can be a different type, indeed. So first of all, you can advertise a services. So as a solution, an innovative service that you can provide to the partner countries. You can also look for the expertise. So for example, we take let's say the development implementing agency that is already implementing a big program. And in order to succeed, the program has several stages. And let's say that implementing agency is looking for the specific expertise that it cannot find in its own member state. Therefore, it can advertise the ongoing program as a solution, specifying that they are looking actually for the specific expertise that might lay in another member state. Another option, for example, would be of a solution where you have a specific goods. So let's say you are a private sector company. As we know, the Team Europe Partnership Portal targets both the public sector institutions and the private sector companies. Some of the companies might have a goods that are needed, for example, to implement the infrastructure projects. Therefore, in their solution, what they will advertise is specifically that goods that can be used for specific infrastructure projects.
Okay, so we have another question. How would you encourage EU member states and private donors to share their funding offers on the platform? Okay.
Right. So indeed, it is not an easy task to do, but we have a very solid outreach plan that has been developed in order to promote the Team Europe Partnership Portal. We have target audiences with whom we are cooperating. We have networks to which we can access to. And actually, the webinars that are made today, they are different all the time. For example, in autumn, we will start a series of webinars specifically targeting different groups of the Team Europe Partnership Portal. So separately the providers, separately the donors, separately the beneficiaries, and we will tailor the information. And this will allow us also to create a dialogue and to encourage them joining our Team Europe Partnership Portal. Now, when it comes to the member states and for the funding offers, so we are definitely have a different working groups as a European Commission, groups that are dedicated to the global gateways, to the Team Europe initiatives. We also have a council working groups specifically on the cooperation and development issues. Therefore, we will be advertising more and more the Team Europe Partnership Portal, its benefits, and also giving an example. So why for the member states that have a limited financial resources and have no means to implement their development strategies because they lack, for example, a diplomatic representations coverage in the partner countries, or they don't have the implementing agencies, or they don't have enough private sector organizations that could allow them to implement their development strategy. In this case, we encourage a partnership among themselves in a Team Europe spirit, and therefore it is in their benefit actually to advertise the funding opportunities so that they can entrust the other member states or other implementing agencies, development agencies from member states, which are pillar assess, which are already entrusted entities, to help them to implement their development strategies, of course, equally sharing the visibility at the partner country level.
Kinga, so we have received another question, which is,
Right.
Are any partner countries registered yet? And will we pilot the TEPP in 1 or 2 partner countries? So far, we do not yet have the partner countries registered. This was also a choice of not promoting it directly. We just officially launched with the ADDs last week. So now we are full on reaching out to the partner countries and encouraging them to join. We even have some of their members here watching this webinar, and we hope that we get to convince them on the value of registering and seeing the benefits of using our matchmaking tool. Inga, in the terms of the pilots?
Yes, but maybe also on the role of the EU delegations. Indeed, we would like to use the network of heads of cooperation and colleagues working in the European Union delegations to support us in reaching out to the partner countries. For that, Rodrigo's team is working on in developing the Team Europe Partnership Portal Toolkit, meaning it's a communication document with a specific tailored messages for the different groups like the EU delegations, or commission representations in the member states, or member state foreign affairs ministries or ministries in charge of the development cooperation policy implementation, where we expect to multiply the messages in promoting the Team Europe Partnership Portal and therefore spreading the word about the portal's existence. So the EU delegation, we trust, would support us in promoting the Team Europe Partnership Portal while engaging with the partner countries, calling on the different governmental authorities, local authorities, regional authorities to join the portal. It is very important to say what we are expecting on the beneficiary side is that they would put the needs that goes beyond what we are already funding as an EU or member states, or what we can provide as a support through the Team Europe initiatives. Why? Because each partner country has its own national development plan, which is not necessarily limited to the 3 or 5 priority sectors that matches with the European Union policy first approach and geopolitical priorities that we are promoting currently, like digital, like green, jobs and growth. And that means that this portal will allow us also to understand the other needs that our partner countries has, and allow member states entities actually to provide the technical support that goes beyond the Team Europe initiatives or other EU funded programs and projects. To identify the partner to implement the project, I think that this we covered. Will providers and donors will be able to join and react to the request posted by the partner countries. So I don't know exactly what we mean by join and react, but what Rodrigo presented actually, the moment the solution is published, the moment the donor publishes the funding opportunity, or the beneficiary partner publishes the need, you can connect. That means that the request that is posted at the stage, you can go, you can find it through the search, find the partner or find a solution request or a need, and you can match. It means that you can send a request for connection. Only at that stage, and I think that is very important to stress, the details, the contact details will be disclosed to the partner. So until then, when you click on the solution, you don't see the name, the surname, or the email address of the person behind the solution. And only when the matchmaking happens, this information is disclosed. That means that at this stage, the partners can start a connection. So being it a virtual meeting, being it a physical meeting, being it email exchanges, because you receive a contact person behind a specific funding opportunity, solution, or the need.
Add to that, as we mentioned, the portal is basically a matchmaking tool. There is no competitive aspect behind it. And also each organization has on their hands the ability to accept or reject connection requests. So basically there is not a first come, first served basis. Any organization can accept requests of different organizations and strike up a conversation and see what partnerships can come up through that. So there would not be this worry of, oh, they have already matched with a provider, so they're not allowed to match with any other providers.
All right.
The portal is a bit open in this sense, as the idea is to ensure that there are matches and that there is discussions that can lead to projects.
Right. Also would like to come back to the question of the colleagues from the GIZ, because it was 3 questions actually in one. There was another one. If yes, how can they connect before the hand on the TEPP? There is no way to connect before, because if you are not part of the Team Europe Partnership Portal and you haven't matched, so the very little possibility that you will connect, because indeed on the home page you might see the advertisement of the solution, but it is limited only to the title, to the I think country of implementation, and perhaps the logo of the organization that can provide that solution, right? Or funding opportunity, or if it's beneficiary, you know, the need. So that means that there is no way to connect ahead, unless, of course, you have already a bilateral relationship and you tend to recognize the partners that are part of the Team Europe Partnership Portal. And the last question is, you heard about the plans of the Global Gateway Portal. Will this be linked to the Team Europe Partnership Portal? I will not be mistaken by saying that there would be no two portals, that's for sure. What we do now, we put all our efforts to map the existing portals that exist, but as it's already announced by our management in the margins of the European Union Development Directors General's meeting, the Team Europe Partnership Portal is a global gateway portal. So therefore, after this webinar, you will also receive a link to the EU survey. You will be able to provide the feedback and also earmarking what kind of needs you have, being as a providers or as a donors, if we talk about the Team Europe part, you know, or as a beneficiary of the functionalities that should be added actually to the Team Europe Partnership Portal in order to match all the needs. So ultimately, the Team Europe Partnership Portal will become a global gateway portal with the additional functionalities done after the survey and ideas got from the member states and beneficiary countries. I see, Rodrigo, we have additional questions.
So first, there is a more technical question, which I'm not really sure. It's some categories under different groups don't match. For example, agriculture is only under beneficiaries. Can you propose new categories as providers?
I don't know whether I understand correctly the term categories, but the way the portal is developed is that we have sectors. So we have 2 things. We have sectors of intervention and the SDGs. So with SDGs, it's very clear. When it comes to the sectors of interventions, so for example, like agriculture or digital energy, what we did, given the fact that there was a strong request from the European Union member states, you know, to have all activities that will happen in the Team Europe Partnership Portal as a DACable ones, we cooperated with the OECD and we incorporated a sector list from the OECD database. So you have 1,300 sectors that are there. That means that the same sectors applies, being it to provider, to the donor or beneficiary, otherwise the matchmaking could not happen. Also, they say that when it comes to the matchmaking function, there is an algorithm that can suggest you the matchmaking. Nevertheless, we have also a manpower behind in case there is a need, you know, to support you with the matchmaking. But when it comes to the sectors, the categories of the sectors, you can propose definitely, but I think that the list that is developed by the OECD and used by all international community is sufficient enough. Might be that you also refer to the categories as, for example, when we have a solution, there is a category which is meant technical assistance, training, coaching. If we talk about the categories of the different services that we can provide, this list can be expanded and it will expand through the things. We don't have a cornerstone list. The one that we have integrated in the Team Europe Partnership Portal goes back from the backbone strategy that was developed by the European Commission back in 2009, which already classifies and identifies most currently used, types of the services or technical assistance provisions that member states can offer. Having said that, each time you will add a new service provision, it will lengthen the list. So I hope that I covered your question. Otherwise, please raise your hand or speak up. I think we can go further, Rodrigo. We have
yes,
more.
so we have another question which I would offer to you, which is, can donors, no, sorry, someone sent another message. So first it's this one. If an organization is going through a pillar assessment process with the INTPA, will the registration to the TEPP have an impact on the pillar assessment process?
Yes, thank you for raising this question. I can only say good news. It has nothing to do with the pillar assessment, so it means any organization is more than welcome to join the Team Europe Partnership Portal. As you might know, the private sector entities are not pillar assessed, so it has no impact. When it comes to the pillar assessed organization, it's just a question of, let's say, a more speed up approval. So the moment you register your organization in the Team Europe Partnership Portal, according to terms and conditions, we have plus minus 10 working days to screen the organization's profile based on the 6 criteria that I identified in the terms of conditions, because we need to assure due diligence to the member states, but also to the partner countries. We want credible, good organizations being part of our Team Europe Partnership Portal that indeed can provide the services, and also build their own capacities. So that means that if the organization is already pillar assessed, it might only speed up the approval process in joining the Team Europe Partnership Portal. Otherwise, it has no impact.
Thank you. And then another one from UD. Can donors reject contact if they need to follow strict procurement rules and refer providers to official websites for submitting offers?
Yes, absolutely. But seeing that this question comes from the EU delegation, perhaps, Rodrigo, we should explain. The way the Team Europe Partnership Portal is currently created, the European Commission has a centralized profile. So for the European Commission, we have European Commission profile. So what we're encouraging all our colleagues from EU delegations, if they want to join the Team Europe Partnership Portal, they should join already the existing European Commission profile. So what does it mean? It means that they become users of the European Commission profile. And in this case, they are not the ones who will be publishing the solutions or donor opportunities, precisely because there are an annual programming exercise that is done by the European Commission. We program our funds. So these two things are completely linked. If you have a request from the donor wanting to join you, indeed you will, or even the beneficiary country coming to you with a specific need, indeed you are in a full position to maintain the contact, but in a certain way redirect these partners to the right websites, and explain where the information can be found and how they could, for example, join the existing, procurement or call for proposals procedures. So that's one thing. Secondly, I would not reject, perhaps because the portal itself has this possibility of creating partnerships and you never know. Also, the information that you will find on the website, being, let's say, head of cooperation in the EU delegation, will help you also to open up a bit of your horizons. So, for example, we know that not in all partner countries we have a full presence of all EU member states. That having said, the fact that the EU member state doesn't have a diplomatic presence in the country, doesn't mean that they don't have entities who could implement successfully projects, or they don't have expertise. This will allow the colleagues from the EU delegations also to look up for other type of the partnerships that they used to have until now. In particular, if they will be launching a specific, low value contracts or any type of other contracts where you could explore a possibility of cooperating with other partners. which rules allows you to cooperate with the different partners, you know. Then I think there is another question
Exactly.
on the.
It's
So
do you use the IATI OECD sectoral codes?
IATI and OECD sectoral codes, exactly. We are using in the Team Euro Partnership Portal precisely the official OECD sectoral codes, which also are used in the IATI, and as said previously, for the reason because we were asked by the member states, so any matchmaking that will happen with the support and through the Team Euro Partnership Portal could be reported as a DACable activity.
A question that maybe I can answer. What would be the role of the national contact points as being asked to communicate one? Well, the contact points would be exactly for me, for the communication of the portal, so that we can have held bilateral meetings and I can present the portal more in detail, answer your questions and help you with registering the portal and any other issues you might have. And it's exactly just as a communication entry point and to assist the organizations in joining the TEPP.
Maybe just to add that also what we see from the Commission point of view, the role of the focal point would be also connecting us to the new, let's say, entities from the specific member state. Each member state will decide how they would like to coordinate, and therefore it will feed us back with the possibility of providing a tailored webinars if needed be, taking into consideration the context of the member state of the country, right? And even provide this webinar with the subtitles in the local language, you know. Also, it's not in the question list, but the user manual and the toolkit will soon be available in all EU member state languages. So in case someone is interested, currently it is available in English, but we have an ambition by September to have it, the two documents translated into all member states, which should facilitate actually also a promotion and communication at local level by the focal point, you know, to the relevant stakeholders that should be joining the Team Euro Partnership Portal.
Can a regional authority or a business promotion organization register in the portal?
Regional authority. Here I would like maybe to ask for the clarification, because indeed we are targeting the regional local authorities. So as our portal is open to the national authorities, regional and local authorities, so definitely they can register to the portal. They can be a provider, they can also be a donor. Business promotion organizations, yes, because they qualify as a private law bodies. Our portal is open to the private sector. That means that different type of private sector with a non-profit mission like foundations and other private and political organizations that can fund, but also businesses with a profit making. All right. A very important maybe thing that we haven't mentioned today with Rodrigo, that amongst the other multi-stakeholders that the Team Euro Partnership Portal is covering is also the European Investment Bank, the EBRD. We are planning to sign a specific agreement so that they would become an official partners of the Team Euro Partnership Portal for the future, notably because they will be the biggest donors, I believe, within the Team Euro Partnership Portal and the whole global gateway implementation. Notably, what we also expecting to see coming on, the development finance institutions and development banks from the member states joining the Team Euro Partnership Portal too, and offering also finance opportunities for the private sector.
Thank you, Ingrid. So are there any other questions? A follow-up question based on the ones that we've already answered? You're also allowed to raise your hand and ask them. No, it doesn't need to be through the chat necessarily. Maybe this might be it. In the meantime, as I'm thinking, here's another. This is a very easy one. When do you expect the portal to be live? Well, the Team Bureau Partnership portal is already live. Can share the link here in the also available in the presentation and I think on the registration page. So you could, right after this webinar, you are already invited to go access the website and register your organization. As I've mentioned, it is a very quick procedure. It takes up to 3 minutes. And as Inga mentioned, there is a 10-day period for the commission to accept your organization into the portal.
Right.
Inga, do you have an idea of, on average, how long has it been taking? It's a question.
Okay, so to be approved on the TEPP, according to the terms and conditions, we actually give us 10 working days to analyze the organization profile, because sometimes we consult relevant commission services like DG Budget, Finance and Contract, as we do the due diligence. In particular, when it comes to the private sector entities, in some cases, we even need to consult the member states. So it's 10 working days at maximum. But in principle, from what we have seen now, the organization profiles are approved within the 3-5 working days usually. Maybe Rodrigo, just to add on another thing, as you mentioned that the portal is live, to stress that for the colleagues that works in the European Union delegations, you don't need to create the organization. You simply need to connect to the Team Euro Partnership portal with your EU login and type join the existing organization, and please type European Commission in full words, and you will be able to join the European Commission profile as a user. This will allow you to connect to the secured portal site and scroll through the information that is available there. We need to look in the future whether the EU delegations would like to have a separate profile. There is no against. There are always, of course, cons and pros for that, but I think we can individually discuss with every single EU delegation where they feel that, for example, instead of being just the users of the European Commission profile, they would like to have their own. Same applies to the colleagues from the member states, the diplomats that works in the embassies of their respective member states. I think the best would be to connect with the focal point in your country in charge of the Team Euro Partnership portal, because might be that each member state has its own way of working. But in some member states, what we have already heard, they created the under the Team Euro Partnership portal a profile of the Ministries of Foreign Affairs development departments or Directors General for the development cooperation. Again, depends on the structures in each member state. And you are also welcome to join the existing profile of your member state as a user. Case by case, you need to discuss it with your Team Euro Partnership portal focal point.
And then finally, there's a question if the presentation and the recording will be shared. Yes, they will be made available along with also with the video for the first webinar. We're expecting to have the videos ready by fall, and the presentation will be sent following the webinar.
Yeah. And in addition to that, we will share the link to the EU survey where you will be able to leave a feedback on the Team Euro Partnership portal, and also specify whether there are any missing, let's say, options that you would like in the future the Team Euro Partnership portal have it, you know. For example, because it would serve better your country's needs and would attract more entities and users from your respective country.
So are there any further questions you would like to ask? While we're waiting, so just to sum up, there will be, we're going to be sharing another webinar with you on the fall, which will be focused on communicating the Team Europe partnership to stakeholders. And this webinar will be followed also with our launch of the Team Europe Outreach Toolkit, which, as I mentioned, is a communication document which will include fact sheets, also basic texts, an FAQ, and the user guide of the TEPP. The user guide will also be made available in all official EU languages, hopefully by fall also. And this will also be followed by the video recordings of both the first and the second TEPP webinars on the fall. So in terms of announcements, this is more or less what we have to announce. And we can only again encourage you to join the portal, start submitting solutions or projects or funding opportunities, because especially the idea is the portal is a tool and it needs to be used by our stakeholders. So we really encourage you to sign up for the portal. Have any closing words?
Indeed. Thank you very much, Rodrigo. Thank you to all who spent these hours with us. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to send them to our functional mailbox, INTPA Support Services. That's our main functional mailbox that is used for any type of the questions, being it you are struggling, you cannot connect to the TEPP, etc. But also, feel free to share any ideas, provide us feedback. We want to improve. We want to have as many users as possible at the Team Europe Partnership Portal, and we want to make it the best portal we could have together with the EU member states, in this Team Europe spirit. Thank you.
So thank you very much, everyone. I hope you have a good morning. I'll first welcome everyone to the second TEPP webinar on submitting your project. I will begin first by showing a video message from Felix Fernandez Shaw, the director of INTPA.
Hola. My name is Felix Fernandez Shaw. I'm the Director for Sustainable Development Policy and Coordination here at DG INTPA in the European Commission, DG for International Partnerships. At DG INTPA, we focus our work in creating partnerships to promote and defend EU and international values and interests. We uphold sustainable development goals, but we also wish to bring together and connect stakeholders to European solutions which promote a green and digital just transition, a human-centered just transition. This is the global gateway that we are trying to connect the world to. The Team Europe Partnership Portal that I bring for you today is one of those expressions. The Team Europe Partnership Portal aims at connecting partners in partner countries, ministries, agencies, private sector with the European providers of solutions. Again, solutions that bring a just and fair digital and green transition, but also human development. By using a secure and user-friendly portal, we try to match our solutions with our challenges and our requests, and we do it in a Team Europe approach. Why? Because we've worked the Team Europe Partnership Portal together with the government of Estonia, but also we count on the cooperation from other member states, their agencies, their banks, and their private sector and NGOs to provide us for solutions that are well searched for all across Europe. This is a new era that we're trying to work together on. We are Team Europe, and we connect you to the global gateway.
Estou numa formação. Quem é este?
Okay, so this was a message from the introduction from Felix, and now I'd like to invite my colleague Inga from INTPA D1 to talk a little bit more about the portal.
Thank you, Rodrigo. Good afternoon, all. So indeed, as presented by Felix Fernando Shaw, the platform is to provide the key information about the Team Europe providers, goods and services, including, of course, the technical expertise support that is made available to our partner countries, but also European Union delegations and member states embassies and the offices that operates in the field. So to recall, I think that it is very important to talk about the real benefits of the Team Europe Partnership Portal, the ones that we see. So first of all, that the portal itself promotes the international partnerships and also flags the priority areas of the cooperation and allows us to coordinate our resources. It provides a platform for our partner countries to access to the specifically Team Europe assistance that is needed to implement the Global Gateway strategy. And also, we believe it will leverage and maximize the existing European Union and member states capacity, being it at the global level, regional, or partner country level. The Team Europe Partnership Portal itself is fully operational since the 1st of April. And being launched only last week. So for you to be able to make the most of the Team Europe Partnership Portal and what it has to offer, first of all, we would like to invite you to join and visit the portal and, of course, start loading the solutions. And this specific webinar is about how we can encode solutions as a providers or funding opportunities as a donors, or how we can pledge the needs if we are based in the partner country. On that note, I would like to give back the floor to Rodrigo, who will guide you through the Team Europe Partnership Portal functionalities. Thank you.
Thank you, Inga. Okay, so as Inga mentioned, there are 3 types of profiles in the tab. You can register as a donor, provider, or a beneficiary. So the donors are the financial institutions, public or private in the EU member states, and the projects that they can encode in the tab are funding opportunities. For the providers, these are private and public institutions, entities in the EU member states, and they can provide solutions for the portal as a project. And finally, we have the beneficiaries, which are the public entities in the partner countries, being local, regional, or national governments, and they can make requests on the portal. First of all, as Inga mentioned, it's very important that you register your organization in the portal or you join your organization if it is already registered. There are 2 types of views on the portal, either registered member or non-registered members. As a non-registered member, when you go to the portal, you can see only the home page and some basic information of the portal. Only if you're registering and being accepted into the portal, you can see the matchmaking tools along with the profiles of the organizations. To register, you simply need to click on the login button on the top right corner of the portal. You're going to be led to the uLogin page. If you already have a uLogin, you can use it to join the portal. Otherwise, you need to create a uLogin. It's a very quick step. Once you have your uLogin and you're logged in the portal, you simply have to either register your organization, a process that takes 3 minutes and can be done even on your phone, as it simply requires a description of your organization, a logo file for your profile, and then some additional details of the characteristics of your organization. If your organization is already created, you can simply request to join it and you'll be allowed by colleagues. And then from that point on, you can see the private part of the portal. So now the focus of the webinar, I'll first go through a step-by-step explanation on how to create a project and the little variation between each type of project. And then afterwards, I'll show you this process through the testing environment of the portal. So first of all, once you are a registered user and you have access to the portal, you see that you have this overview tab of My Organization. Once you click on the overview link, you're going to have the entry page of your organization in the portal, and you have one of 3 options. And depending on your type of organization, you could even have 2, such as the Commission, which is registered both as a donor and as a provider. And these buttons are the submit a funding opportunity, submit a solution, or submit a request. So you simply click on that button and you'll be taken to the general step-by-step, which is a 3-step process. First, you have to provide some general information about the project. So there are 3 basic fields that are available for all types of projects, which are the title, the sectors it addresses, and sustainable development goals that it addresses. And then depending on which type of project, there are some more specific options. For example, for funding opportunities, you can specify the funding range, contribution in kind, and expected starting period of a project, along with funding type and expected funding source. For a solution, you can identify a solution type, be it consulting, technical, implementation, or other types. You can select the eligible countries where you are able to deploy the solution. And for requests, you can identify whether you already have the funding requirement to implement a solution or not. So once you filled in those basic things, you go to the next step, you click continue, and have more detailed information you need to provide. So this is a description. You can upload documents such as PDF or Word documents, which could be, in the case of solutions, it can be a more detailed description of the solution or examples of it, success stories, or for example, funding opportunities. You can include details on a funding program, the specific rules it has to be followed. And then we also ask for cover photo, and you can additionally add a gallery of photos. For example, your solution on the field or specific details of the requirements that you would like to have assistance with. Once you filled in all this, PowerPoint. Once you filled in all those informations, you then go to the last step, which is a simple overview. You can see all the information that you provided and how they would look on the portal. You can go through everything again, and if you're satisfied with it, you can simply click the yellow publish button, and they will go live in the portal. So now I'll stop sharing my PowerPoint, and we'll go for the test environment of the portal, where you can see how this works in practice. So I'll start with submitting a solution. So this is how the private overview of your organization looks once you are registered on the portal. As I mentioned, you would click on My Organization, you'll be taken to Overview, and here you have the Submit a Solution button. Once you click on it, you have this general description of the portal. So luckily, I can simply click and it pre-fills it for me in this case as an example. You can see here we have a solution that is titled Productive Farms Initiative. You can see that I've selected the sectors agriculture and energy. The sustainable goals, development goals, I selected no poverty, zero hunger, decent work, and economic growth. And the solution type I've selected is a technical implementation. So then, as you can see, you can select either a region or you can select specific countries. In this case, the solution is aimed at Africa. Once you filled in this information, you click the continue button and you're taken to the detailed description. It looks like this. So once I fill it in, you see that there is a description. You can upload documents such as PDF, Word documents, and image files, along with also compressed files such as zip files. You select a cover photo, and you can also add a gallery of images with examples of your solution in practice. And then you click continue, and you're taken to this confirmation screen, where this is how it would appear on the portal. If I'm satisfied with it, I can select publish, and you can immediately go and see your solution and how it appears on the portal. As you can see here, this is the information that you can see. You can see the information of your organization. But for example, if you are a partner country and you're looking at this solution, what you'll see here is a button where you can request to be put in contact with the organization, which is the matchmaking option. So now we're going to go back. Show you then on the donor side how it appears when you're submitting a funding opportunity. So it's the same deal. You start on the overview of your organization. You click submit a funding opportunity. You can see here it already looks a little bit different. So I'll fill in the information. Our example is a program for SMEs. There is no specified sector, and it aims at the sustainable development goals of decent work and economic growth, partnerships for the goals. And you can see there is a funding range, there is no specified contribution in kind, and then the expected starting period and the expected start period of the program, then funding type and the expected funding source. I continue to go to the detailed information. As you can see, there's a description. You can add more information such as the rules of this funding opportunity and the simple cover photo. I click continue, and then there's again the overview. It will be published on the portal, and it appears in this way. Again, here, either providers or partner countries will be able to contact this organization to be put in so that they can discuss this funding opportunity. Final one, which is on the beneficiary side, submitting a request. Here, you are the institute, the organization on the partner country. You can click submit a request. Here, you're gonna have the detailed explanation of the general explanation. If you click on it, here's the example. It is implementing a national EID or digital signature solution. The sectors are digitalization, government, civil society, and human rights. And the sustainable development goals, industry, innovation, and infrastructure, peace, justice, and strong institutions, and partnerships for the goals. The funding here, you can, this in our example, they already have the funding required to implement this. If you go and submit a request, then the detailed information, you add again detailed information on your needs as a partner country. You click continue, and then you have here the overview. Once you approve it and publish it, you can come here and have a look. So as you can see, regardless which profile you have, it's a very simple process to upload a solution, request, or funding opportunity on the portal. And additionally, while we are here on the testing environment of the portal, I can show you more or less a view of the matchmaking tool, since not all of the people here have seen the portal in practice. So if you come here at the entrance of the portal, you see on the top, you can either go by project. So I click on solutions, and you'll be able to have an overview of which solutions are available on the portal. Once you click on one, you'll have the description of the solution, all the documents that have been provided and images. And then you can click this blue button here to be put in contact with the organization. And then the organization that hosts the solution will have the opportunity to accept the connection or not. You can also look through funding opportunities or through requests made by partner countries. And in this way, you can see what interests your organization, or you can also look at which organizations are already on the portal. You can click on one of them and you'll be seeing all the information, their description, their general description, what they do. You can see if they have solutions or funding opportunities available, and you can click on the blue button to be put in contact with them. So this is the same for donors and for beneficiaries. The idea is that you can either yourself request to be put in contact with an organization, or an organization can request to be put in contact with you. And behind the scenes, we have an algorithm which tries and match different organizations. And we also have people behind the scenes looking at which organizations and which requests are there and trying to make the matchmaking also from our side. So this is basically our practical demonstration. I'm just going to go back to my slides. Now we have a Q&A moment. You, as I've mentioned, if you do not wish to be recorded, you can send your questions via the chat, or you can raise your hand and I will call you to ask your question. I see already that we have a question in the chat, which is, what is the difference between a solution and a beneficiary submitted request? So the solution is, I can go back to my slide on the definitions. So as you can see, once you're in the TEPP, there are three different types of projects. So donors, which are the financial institutions, can post funding opportunities. Providers, which are in the member countries, can provide solutions, and beneficiaries can provide requests. So the idea is that a beneficiary request is something that they would like to do in the partner countries, the authorities of the partner country, to address a sustainable development goal. As in our example, this would be a local organization who would like to start using EIDs and implement them in their organization. So they would post on the website a request saying, we would like to have access to an EID system. And then a provider who provides this kind of consultancy or can implement an EID system would see this request and be able to contact them and say, hello, we are an organization that does this. So let's see, we have another question. Should we upload only future program solutions, or can we also upload current programs? Inga, would you like to answer this?
Yes, thank you very much for the questions. Also, thanks, Rodrigo, for your short and very catchy presentation. Indeed, when it comes to the European member state implementing agencies, providers, yes, you can upload your future programs and solutions, but also you can publicize your current programs. Just to give an example, let's say you are implementing a very big scope of the program with your bilateral funding coming from your member state, but you are looking for a specific expertise, which, for example, none of the entities within your member state can provide. In this case, you would go to the Team Euro Partnership portal. You will look for other providers, other organizations that are registered. You will find let's say the entities that provides a support in a specific niche that would allow you to implement more effectively and more efficiently your own program. It can be, for example, an individual experts from the public institutions that you are looking for, or private, let's say, companies who could provide you specific services as a subcontractors. And this way, your program will be even bigger. Or, for example, it will allow you to replace a certain pool experts if you have a shortages on your side, or during the implementation of the program, suddenly you see that there is a game changer in the implementation because of the political situation in the country, and there are a need for a change of the actions. And ultimately, then you would look for the different other actors in the member states, quickly allowing you to mobilize the necessary knowledge, expertise, and run your program smoothly. I will also would like to go back a little bit to the question that was raised, I see, from the colleagues of the EU delegation on the differences between the solutions and the beneficiary submission request form, as it might be of their interest. So what we are taking as a starting point, that when we talk to the beneficiaries, our partner countries, right, each partner country has a national development plan. That implies that there are a lot of different priorities that the country is committed to implement in a certain period of time, addressing different type of sustainable development goals, right? We know that we have a global gateway initiative that was recently launched, and also the Team Europe initiatives. And in addition to that, we have our member states that working in parallel, right, implementing projects, activities. And also we have European Union programs. It can be cross-border regional programs. What does it mean in reality? That this portal will allow us to map the needs of partner country, which are not currently funded or in any other action supported by the European Union or our member states in the partner country. That means it is a complementary tool to see the whole picture, and also going back to this thinking of ownership, right, of the on the partnership partner countries level, and also this thing that we are addressing not only policy-driven priorities by the EU, but also we are capable with the Team Europe Partnership Portal and with all the capacities that lays in our member states, to also tackle other needs that are not reflected by the joint programming TIs or global gateways.
So are there any further questions?
No, I don't think that we have any further questions. Oh, yes, we do.
Yes, I think maybe your comment has been cut off or you are typing more information. So we'll just give another second. Could you be more specific what entity you are in this case, just so we can have an idea better to judge whether you could use the platform?
I think, Rodrigo, I read it between the lines. There could be a reference perhaps to the sort of public entity working as a donor, because it refers to the open offer, But anyways, I will try to give any examples, a couple of examples. One of the public entity offering a solution and another one offering a funding. So let's say we have a member state Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Department of Development Cooperation, having its own development strategy to be implemented during the certain period of time, and a very limited budget that is allocated specifically to implement development policy and development strategy. In such a case, the ministry can register itself as a provider and a donor, so have a double hat profile in the Team Europe Partnership Portal, and advertise a funding opportunity. So for example, like Rodrigo mentioned, you can identify a title coming from your development strategy papers of a priority, which SDG you would like to tackle and in which sector you can spend the public money. And then you could identify the budgets, for example, 150,000 euro to 1 million euro that you can spend on the priority regions and priority countries. But given to the fact that your country doesn't have a diplomatic representation in the priority countries that you have identified in your development strategy, no, it has, for example, an implementing agency or any other entity that operates in the field. In this case, you could work with team up with other European Union member state entities, implementing agencies or private sector organizations that are already in the field, right? And that could, with your money, implement your strategy, could assist you. That having said, it means that, of course, the visibility vis-a-vis partner country would be shared amongst the two, the one that is funding and implementing its strategy, and the other one that implements for you your strategy. So that would be about the funding. Now, about the solution, again, it could be that your ministry has, again, an idea of how you think the things could be done in the partner country to address the partner country's needs that, for example, are not addressed through the global gateway hard infrastructure or soft infrastructure, or, for example, the Team Europe initiatives, but it's still considered as a priority by the partnership country. Therefore, you could say that we have an idea how this can be implemented, but we don't have means to implement it. neither financial nor human power, because we are a small country, because we are not in that partner country, and because we don't have the implementers. Therefore, the matchmaking can happen between the 3 or 4 entities, meaning, again, you have a brilliant solution, but you have a very good among the member states implementing agencies that would implement that solution, carry the solution, and you might have a philanthropic organization or the let's say, private or political foundation, or even another member state that would be willing to put the bilateral money in. And therefore, we would, as a team Europe, as a group, we could also address the needs of the partner country together. I hope that I responded to the question by Eva. And we see also that there is a hand raised by Lucy.
Exactly. Lucy, you can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot for the presentation. I have a question. I'm working for the French Development Agency, and there might be a lot of people who will upload solutions or on the platform. I understand that the organization needs to be registered as a whole, and then people can join the organization profile, right? And I was wondering for the contact, if someone wants to be in contact with us, who will be the contact? It will be the person that adds the solution, or would it be the organization by itself? Just to know if we have to coordinate among ourselves, or how should it work? Thanks a lot.
Rodrigo, I can take the question if you want. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
go ahead.
Thank you very much. So very good question, Lucy. Thank you very much for joining and also raising this question. So indeed, there are 2 things here. The way the portal is created is to reduce the workload to the minimum possible and to facilitate, all the registered users to use it in a simple way. So the most important thing is to register to the portal, which is indeed, we are registering the organization, for example, IFD. Then all your colleagues from the field, from any other setting in the capital, can join your organization as a users. As a users, they have an access to your organization profile. So then they can upload the solutions. So first, the person who is a contact point for your organization as an IFD, registered organization in Team Europe Partnership Portal, is not responsible for the solutions until the person doesn't want to be involved in it. That allows actually your colleagues who are working on a specific, for example, ongoing projects, ongoing programs, and they have a solutions to publish, they can appoint, for example, in the field, a person who will specifically, using your organization profile, will upload the solution. And in this case, that person will be a contact point. So if the partner country will match with you, for example, that their needs matches with the exact solution that your organization are offering, they will match and they will talk. And in this case, it is not a centrally managed process. Having said that, of course, again, we don't want to intervene into the internal, let's say, structures of each organization, because there are big organizations, small, there are different hierarchical structures. It also can be an internal decision that if it is manageable, all the solutions are centralized and managed by the person who is indeed referred as a contact person to the IFD profile in the Team Europe Partnership Portal. It is an internal decision, but you have 2 options and you feel free to use which one is better for you.
Okay, thanks a lot. I suppose it's at the beginning when we create our organization profile, we can choose if it's always the contact point, or if it can change as many times as we want when someone uploads a solution. Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
You can change it as many times as you want. That is how the portal is created. The moment you create the organization profile and your organization profile complies with the 6 criteria identified in the terms and conditions and is approved by the Team Euro Partnership Portal administrator within the 10 working days, from that on minute, you can edit your organization profile as many times as you want, and you don't need to go through additional approval process.
Okay, so we can all use one profile with many users inside.
Exactly, you can.
Very good, thanks.
You're welcome.
Are there any further questions? So, Alexandra, you can go ahead.
Yes, is it already working? Do you already have organizations who are enlisted inside? Can we have an example for example? Thanks.
Yes, the portal has already been live since April, and we officially launched it at the IATI last week. I had expected maybe this question, so I did open the portal. I can share so you can have an idea of how it looks like on its live environment. So here you can see I already had the partners, for example, open. I can go first back to the home page. So you see this is the current homepage of the portal. We do have already some solutions and posted. Sorry, this is my internet being a little bit slow. There you go. So for example, we have already this private company from Cyprus, Dave Limited. They've added many consulting solutions that they can provide, such as CV tailoring, market analysis and research. We also have some provided by the Fundação Internacional para Iberoamérica de Administração e Políticas Públicas, with a design of long-term climate strategies, and also some by Estonian partners. On organizations, we already have providers, obviously. I just need a second. It's my internet. But we indeed, we are currently only missing beneficiaries registered. Since we were not initially publicly promoting the portal, we started essentially with the DDDs. It was our moment to meet beneficiaries and invite them to join the portal. And we're going to be working throughout the summer to have them join, so that from fall onwards, I think that the matchmaking can start happening. And additionally, my colleague Inga can mention a bit on the donor side.
We do have also a donors. Maybe
Yes.
we can load once again the portal,
Sure.
if we can, because it would be more appealing, I believe.
Yes, there you go. So you can
Exactly.
see some examples of providers that are registered already.
So we have we have a number of the ministries of foreign affairs that already created their profiles. Also, just to mention that, for example, the profiles that are created by the ministries of foreign affairs will serve all the embassies of the respective countries. So, for example, the relevant colleagues from the embassies will be able to join the Ministry of Foreign Affairs organization profile as a users, which will also allow them to get into the secured part of the portal, screen, for example, and familiarize themselves, with the existing partners, create matchmake. We also have private sector institutions with profit and non-profit mandate. We also have implementing agencies that are members of the practitioners network. Among the donors, we see the ministries of foreign affairs. Of course, we see also the private sector, and some implementing agencies also that are double-headed, and they can be a provider, but also they can be a donor. For example, they can work with the civil society, or they can work with the private sector in order to implement the different projects and programs.
So I hope this helps you have a better sense of what is available already on the portal.
Yes.
And of course, as we mentioned, you can already register. So we recommend you also to register your organization already. And once you're provided the authorization to join the portal, you can also go in and look in detail on what is already available on the portal.
Right.
I see.
Yeah, we see a couple of new questions that came out. So one is where we'll be able to find the recording and the PowerPoint of the webinar. It's Rodrigo, you can explain.
So for this, we are just still finishing some details on the more promotion and communication side of the portal. We had our first webinar back in January, and we're going to be joining that to get the first and the second webinar recordings, and they will likely be made available through the portal. We have your contacts through the registration, so we'll also be informing you via email once the recordings are available, and the PowerPoint presentation will be sent following the webinar. So early next week, you already have the PowerPoint presentation, and as soon as we fine-tune the details of where the recordings will be made available, you'll be receiving a notification of that too.
All right. Also to add that in addition to the PowerPoint and the records, you will also receive a link to the EU survey where you will be able to leave a feedback on the Team Euro Partnership Portal functionalities. Also, there would be several open questions whether you would be interested to have a tailor-made webinars starting as of, let's say, September. Which we might offer even in your local language, or at least with the subtitles in the local language, in case you would like to do an outreach within your member state or within your partner country. On another note, we have further questions that came from the audience. One, has the portal already been presented to the partners, beneficiaries on the field? So we actually presented publicly the portal only in the framework of the European Development Days. We haven't done yet any external outreach, but notably now as the portal is officially launched, we are entering into the second stage of our outreach for the Team Euro Partnership Portal, which means that we will be actively reaching out to the partner countries in order to assist them to even fill in the application forms. We know that it's a new tool and it might be complicated for some. So we have an external support team that will be assisting our partner countries. We will work hand in hand, notably with the European Union delegations. They're very instrumental in this work because they will help us to reach out to the governmental, regional, and local authorities of our partner countries in order to mobilize them in learning about the Team Euro Partnership Portal, finding where it is, and starting filling, first of all, the organization profiles and then publishing their needs. We also have several partners of the Team Euro Partnership Portal. So first partner is, of course, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Estonia, but the other two, one is the Committee of Regions. As we know, the Committee of Regions has a lot of and substantial contacts with the regional or local authorities in the member states, but also in the partner countries. So we are cooperating very closely, and we are utilizing the networks of the Committee of Regions to promote the Team Euro Partnership Portal since January this year already. And we have a lot of positive feedback that we are receiving from the regional and local authorities to be part of the Team Euro Partnership Portal. And also, we are cooperating with the Directorate General for the Neighborhood and Eastern Partnership. As you can see, we are promoting twinning and TAIEX tools there. So that means that it also brings access to the partner countries that are within the merits of DG Neighborhood and Enlargement, in specifically more in mobilizing the public sector expertise, and put the offers from the different line ministries from the member states, but ultimately in the longer term from other implementers and the private sector. And then the last question, yes, we do have a strategy. There is a very solid outreach strategy that was developed already prior the Team Euro Partnership Portal was developed. And it has several stages of outreach. And you are currently our priority group that we are reaching out. So notably member state implementing agencies. We wanted to already have an offer from the Team Europe actors before we go to the partner countries, and then the third stage of the portal would be reaching out to European Investment Bank and EBRD, and also development finance institutions and development banks, including private and political foundations and philanthropic organizations, because in order matchmaking to happen and projects to be implemented, of course, we need a third arm, which is a finance arm, given the fact that Team Euro Partnership Portal is a matchmaking portal and doesn't have a specific fund pot behind it, you know.
So are there any further questions? I see that Alexandra has her hand still raised. Is this a new hand or you just forgot to remove it? Ah, there you go. So just in the meantime, while anybody else might be coming up with further questions, we can add a little bit more on our plans for the summer and fall. As Inga mentioned, we're going to be doing some further outreach to the partner countries to start and having them joining. It would be good to have your presence already in the portal and possibly solutions, if there are any that are available that can be added. And additionally, we are currently finishing an outreach toolkit for the TEPP. This is going to be a communication document which includes FAQs, fact sheets, media that can be used on websites or social media. And this is all going to be made available in the fall to our partners so that they can also promote the portal through their networks and also incentivize partner countries to join it. So you can look forward to have that ready by fall. The portal already has the FAQ and a user guide published in English, and we're going to be translating the user guide in all EU member state languages. This will also be available in the fall, which will be helpful with promoting the portal also beyond the providers to the partner countries. And I'm thinking that we also will send you a survey because the portal is a collaborative tool. We do look forward to receiving comments. If you register organization, you've been through the portal, and you feel like there is a functionality or another need that you have and it's not currently represented in the portal, we really to hear about it, because we do indeed plan on keep developing the portal and adding functionalities. Inga, is there anything you'd like to add?
Just to encourage people to join our portal, because we will not succeed without you and without having, of course, the member states with us in order to showcase the beauty and actually what we have as an offer as the EU and member states together. Also, indeed, do not hesitate to come back to us with whatever question you have, being it a technical, you are struggling in filling in the forms, the solution or organization. This is where we have INTPA support services at your disposal 7 times a week, 24 hours. Usually the team is very responsive. There are 3 people behind it and will assist you to the extent possible. Also, Rodrigo, if needed be, if you have questions on the communication aspects, on the outreach, I don't know where I was not enough focused on whether I missed or not, but we are developing the Team Euro Partnership Portal toolkit to be made available at the disposal of the European Union member states and partner countries and EU delegations. The toolkit will be available in all official European Union languages that, of course, matches with the development languages, in particular French, Spanish, Portuguese, and German. in this case, this will allow you also to perhaps better and easier understand the portal and what we would like to achieve. With the user manual, which is currently available in English, will also be made available by September in all European Union languages, which will help our partner countries and us. And of course, Rodrigo is more than best placed to actually do the individual webinars to the Team Europe Partnership Portal focal points that have been nominated in the member states, but also to individual organizations, really to look for the tailored examples that we could assist, brainstorm together, and make best use out of the Team Europe Partnership Portal, which likely to become also a global gateway partnership portal in the future.
Okay, so if there are no further questions, I think that's it. I would like to thank everyone for their attention and for joining our webinar. And we will be in touch, as we mentioned, with the survey and the PowerPoint presentation, and in the future also the recordings of the webinars so that you can refer back to them. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming. And as Inga said, you are free to contact me individually, and we can set up any further contact to discuss the portal.
Yes, so big thanks on the DG INTPA side, on Unit D1 and Unit R5. Thank you.